From India to the world and from the world to India, TRS has always been about getting the best international minds on the Ranveer show. I feel there's a lot to learn from American culture, American entrepreneurship, and some iconic American entrepreneurs. That's what Grant Cardone is all about. His story is one of the most inspirational stories out there in the general business world, in the content world. Today, Grant Cardone is sharing some of his best nuggets of wisdom on the Ranveer show. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. We're a Spotify exclusive now, which means every episode will be available on Spotify 48 hours before it's available anywhere else in the world. But for now, it's Grant Cardone, GC, on the Ranveer show. Mr. GC, Mr. Grant Cardone, it's more than an honor having you on this show. The people who inspire me are inspired by you. So you don't know what this is like for me.
Thank you. Well, hey, I'm proud to be with you on this call. So it's my pleasure, my honor, and you and I will never do this again like this. So I look forward to what we explore and learn from one another.
I am hoping to host you in India when you're here. You have a lot of old school fans in India, especially from, the sales part of this country, the digital marketing part of this country. You've got a lot of people who look up to you.
I cannot wait to come to India. I've never been. I've read about it. I've read, some old scripture and stuff from history. And so I look forward to coming there and meeting the people. Every time I meet somebody from there, like our hearts connect. And I connect with the people and the hustle and the interest in family. All that really resonates with me.
Yeah. A mentor of mine once told me that, Ranveer, your goal should be to become an Indian version of Grant Cardone. So since that day, I have been reading up a lot about you. The first video I ever saw of yours was about your drug abuse when you were younger. And I went through a similar phase. Like when I was in college, I don't know how intense your phase was. And I believe it was very, very intense. But
mine was more intense than yours was, my friend.
What was the peak of your bad phase like? And what were the thoughts in your head at that peak of your bad phase?
Yeah, so it was mostly just personal degradation, just personal self-loathing, disgust for myself, quitting, wanting to give up. And not being able to the funny thing was, you don't want to quit, but you do. And I couldn't, when things are really bad, I'm so grateful I couldn't quit, but I wanted to every day. And for 9 years, it wasn't like it was a weekend or two. It was a long, long duration. And then even coming back from it, right? Once I made a decision to clean up my life and I had a lot of repair work to do with people that didn't trust me. I didn't trust me. I had to get good at something I like. I didn't have a lot of choices because I had messed up a lot of my choices and options. So I was left with only a few things to do as a career. And I was 25 years old, and that's when I really started saying, okay, quit looking for options, get good at this one thing. It's not perfect. It's not ideal. I'm meant to do more than this, but I'm going to do this right now.
So you said, I didn't trust me. What does that even mean?
Well, I had lost trust in myself, right?
Like so what?
I couldn't depend on me to do what I needed to do. I couldn't depend on myself to get the job done. Depend on myself to handle or manage money correctly. I couldn't depend on myself to do whatever it takes ethically in order to gain personal respect. And so I know everybody's trying to get everybody else to trust them and to believe in them. I didn't believe in me and I didn't trust me. So that you got to rebuild that, right? When you know every secret about yourself, like the whole world right now is interested in building a brand. The world needs to be interested in building themselves and believe. If I believe in me, I will go promote me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a big missing piece in the world today. It's like everybody wants to become an influencer today, like that quick. They want to know, how do you promote yourself so much? How do you promote yourself so hard? You're always promoting yourself. Yeah, because I love myself. And because I don't rip people off. I don't cheat. I always give people more than I promised. So when you do that over and over and over again, and you start to believe in yourself, you can start to really, truly promote yourself. And until then, you're not going to be able to do not you, but people will not be able to promote themselves in the fashion that I do, because they skipped a little step, which is they don't yet truly 1000% believe in themselves.
So the video that I speak of, the one I discovered you through, it did two things to me. The first was that it kind of helped me get over my pot addiction. I was a huge pothead. And while that really wasn't affecting my career badly, but it was slowing me down a little bit, I felt, because I used to consume too much of it. So it kind of helped me get over the edge in terms of getting rid of that substance. But the second thing it did to me was what you call the 10x mentality, in terms of just thinking really expansive. Like, I feel like when I started out this YouTuber career, my goal was to become a big YouTuber and then have maybe one stable business. When I discovered your work, I realized how far you should be thinking, how far you should be aiming for. And that's the big difference between American mindsets and mindsets in the rest of the world. You guys, I don't know what has gone right in your culture, but you guys think really big. When you're thinking of a product, you're constantly challenging yourself to even sell it to the rest of the world. But most of the world, especially third world countries, especially developing countries, we kind of limit ourselves through our beliefs. So that's the big switch.
Let me just say that I don't think it's just your beliefs, right? It's what you're being reminded of every day. So if I'm being hit in the face every day, somebody's punching me in the face every day. Let's just use that for an example. Then, dude, I'm going to think every time I see somebody's hand, I'm going to think I'm going to get hit in the face. If I live in a zoo and, the animals are I got to clean up, the animals every day, then that's what I'm going to see. Right. So when you live in a third world country and you're surrounded by poverty every day, poverty in this country too. Right. So the kid that's growing up in a poverty neighborhood in Baltimore today is not a lot different than the person in Mumbai. It's just one of them has a phone and the other one doesn't. Right. One's got a big, long, rainy season and the other one doesn't. But it's the same issues, dude. And you can only see what you can see, right? If you cover my eyes, I can only see the palms of my hands. And if this is a bunch of scars and problems, then that's all I can see. If my hands are filled with gold and Bitcoin and possibility and Ethereum and math is easy and everything around me is rich and wealthy, then I'm like, I remember that cartoon. I don't know if you guys had it in India. It was called Rich the Kid. I think it was a little cartoon character.
Richie Rich?
Richie Rich.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was growing up, I'm like, I want to be Richie Rich. Because Richie Rich will always be rich because he grew up with gold plumbing. He does not live in scarcity. I don't know if he can keep it, because if he doesn't get the work ethic, he'll just be a second generation loser, right? But my kids are growing up in an environment, dude, where they see possibility. In America, if we choose to, in America, 20% of America's got poverty problem, massive poverty problem. But the difference is they have electricity, they have probably gas and water, and a completely different level, right? But in America, what we have access to here is all these freaking companies that are doing massive, and all the Elons and the Tim Cooks and the Warren Buffetts, all these stories of breakthroughs that become reminders of possibility. And I think that's what opens up or limits thinking, examples. And the beautiful thing today is you can use me as an example.
Yep.
And so, or you can use your neighborhood.
Yeah. I think America is the land of opportunity and the land of inspiration. That's why you guys produce shows like The Last Dance. That's why you produce people like yourself. You guys have an inspirational mindset. I'm telling you from an outside perspective.
Yeah. But let me just say that I go to Singapore and I get inspired by the streets of Singapore because their roads are in better shape. I go to Australia and I say, oh my God, the foods in Australia, the vegetables in Australia have not been negatively impacted by genetics and by the way they're modifying vegetables. So I didn't know that until I went there. So there's other parts of the world that do have inspirations that are, Italy's got its own kind of musical and art, inspiration that we don't have in America. They have a culture we don't have. So I just think, and America does have capitalist money possibility thing that's really magical.
What was the best and worst aspect of America growing up versus the best and worst aspect of it in 2021?
Well, I mean, like to me, I grew up here, right? So you take a lot of this for granted. I mean, America's just, I can go from one place to the other. I can travel freely for the most part, I mean, it's today than it was 30 years ago, but it's such a big place. It's a big place, a lot of people here, a lot of money. A lot of possibility. So it's almost like, but let me just say that it's probably more painful in many ways to live here and not make it. You know because what I'm saying? Like
there's that many winners around you, so you start comparing yourself.
I live in Miami, bro. Like I can go down the street. I was having dinner last night at the hotel. There had to be 16 Rolls Royces and another 16 or 20 Ferraris. Like in America, there's a lot of made up stuff here. There's a lot of fraud here. Like there's a tremendous amount of people that haven't made it that pretend like they have. Because you have debt here. You got financing. If you have a dream, you can finance it here. If you just want to look like a big shot, you can probably get it financed here.
And that culture, it does exist. Like,
yeah, 20 years ago, that didn't exist. Like you couldn't trick people the way you can today. So I don't know. America's still a fantastic place. But look, the place is only as good as the people and the opportunity. If there's good people, you gotta find good people and you gotta find good opportunities. If wherever you are, if you can't find the good people and the great opportunities, it doesn't matter where you live. It's going to feel like hell.
Yeah. Which is why I love the name Undercover Billionaire, because it's the right mindset towards becoming the billionaire. You don't want to show off that you've made it in life. You want to make it for yourself and maybe your family, not for the world.
Yeah. So, that Undercover Billionaire, it's on Discovery Plus. I think it's playing in India now on the app, discoveryplus.com, or the Discovery Plus app in the App Store. I think it's Androids and iOS, right?
Yes.
But basically what happened was the number one question I get asked is, if you didn't have any money and you were dropped off in a town of poverty and you only had 90 days, how long would it take you to build $1 million business? And so that's what I do in that show. I basically I'll just give you the spoiler. I don't know if you've seen the whole thing, but the goal was to build a $10 million business in 90 days.
Wow.
And I end up hitting 5.5 million. People should watch what I do to do this. I have no money, no credit, and I cannot use my name, and I know no one. And it's in a town where there's not a lot of options and not a lot of money. And I did this during COVID, by the way. The country was shut down. 40 million people were put out of work while I did this. So it's a great example that your dreams are real if you have a strategy to realize them.
100%. So I feel there's 3 key aspects to any kind of business, any kind of entrepreneurship mindset. The first aspect is inspiration, because you need to see the business before it happens. The second is product. But the third one that we speak about very, very little in India, and that America speaks about a lot, is sales.
Yeah.
India does have a sales culture, which is not 1/10 as strong as your sales culture. You guys had the Wolf of Wall Street. You guys had great advertising. You guys have a culture of door-to-door salesmen. We never had that, because India started changing in the early 90s. So probably, like, I was born in 1993. By the time I was in 2003, I had access to Hollywood. I had access to American shows.
So I've seen how your culture is different from my culture. But if you were to boil down American sales skills to 3 important points, what would those points be?
So look, I have probably been consulted by more companies about sales than any living person today on the planet. I've worked with some of the largest corporations in the world, international companies that are doing billions of dollars, trying to figure out how to more effectively make a sale. We don't do tricks. There's a lot of tricks in this country. You mentioned one of the guys. He does a lot. He uses a lot of gimmicks. He was put in prison for them. I have been teaching some of the greatest companies on the planet. You do business with them today. You buy their products on how do I effectively increase sales and the experience with the customer as well. Well, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, and over deliver. So in America, we have a fairly aggressive, what would appear to be a fairly aggressive sales process, but it's actually not a sales process. We're a marketing country. We market hard. So the thing I know about, if you want to be great at sales, number one, you need to understand that marketing, it goes like this. I have inspiration, an idea, and then I market the idea. I don't make a sale first. I market the idea.
Wow.
So the first thing that precedes, it should not be sales and marketing. It's marketing and then sales, because without marketing, if they don't know you, they're not going to buy from you. They won't trust you if they don't know you. So some of this, the Wolf of Wall Street guy that you talked about, complete criminal, total scam, went to prison for it because they were basically selling a product before they marketed it.
Got it.
Hey, give me 5 minutes. Every day I get this email. Hey, I got something for you. I'm like, okay, I don't know you. If I don't know you, I am not going to purchase from you. If I don't know you and haven't heard of you, I am not going to trust you. No matter what you say, no matter what trick you say, what your close is, what your line is, how good your script is. Like in our company, we have 679 employees. My goal as an owner of the company is to make the customer know my name before the salesperson introduces themselves. In marketing, Coca-Cola, Warren Buffett, Apple Computer, Lazy Boy, Google. These are names that are known. They're trusted because they're known. So the first thing in sales in America is this: make sure the customer knows you, because if they don't know you and hadn't heard of you, they can't trust you. Number two, I need a product offer that I know the culture wants. The audience wants my offer. Market it, number one. What's the marketing? Number two, what is the offer? What problem does it solve? And number three, in America, something we do very well here is we give people choices.
Wow. Got it. Variety in product, I guess, like tiny varieties in products. That's what you mean by choices?
Choices. I got Ray-Ban and Persol, right? I get choices.
Got it.
So I don't look at one thing. Like, we give people choices, right? I got a small phone. I got the big phone. I got the, you got to have choices, right? You got to have choices. And a lot of times salespeople don't offer choices. They got one thing they want to sell. A lot of startup businesses have one idea. They want to sell the one idea. Like if you look at me, I always have choices, right? I always give people, hey, you can get the hard book. Okay. You can get the book Sell or Be Sold. You can get it. I can send you a digital link, or I can get you the audio, or I can get you the video. Which one would you want? Or number 5 choice, would you like the hard copy, the digital copy, the ebook, audio, the video, or the combination of all of them, and really study it as a library.
Got it.
So you want to give people choices. Also, the choices thing helps in cultures where the buyer is always looking for a deal. Certain cultures have, I have to buy it for less. If it's not a deal, I'm not going to do it. The Japanese, and this isn't being racist, this is just cultures have different. The Japanese don't want to confront. They'll say, oh, that's fine. Very good. No problem. But they're never going to tell you the price is too high. Australians and Canadians, going to be much easier. Okay. If that's it, that's it. They're not going to have anything. They're not going to disagree with anybody. They're not going to confront. Americans will confront you. Okay. So I'm like, okay, you can get the book for Amazon for $25. You can get it from my website for shipping. I'm giving people choices.
Got it. You allow the buyer to feel like they're in control. You kind of make them king or them.
Yes. Yes. I'm giving so much control away that I actually have more control.
Beautiful.
And I'm not manipulating. The goal is not to manipulate. The goal is to service to the point to where the customer's like, what do you think I should do? I got a $9 offer, a $25 offer, a $250 offer. Oh, that's more money than I want to spend. 250 makes 25 look cheap.
Gorgeous. Never looked at sales that way, and I bow down to you and your knowledge. So one last question for you. How do you switch from being just a millionaire to working towards becoming a billionaire? What's the mindset switch, and what's the kind of work, the professional switch?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I mean, it's you got to go from saving to investing. You got to go from in the beginning, you're accumulating, right? And you're gathering success and beans and customers and money, and you're trying to hold on to it. And you're a lot of management involved early on. Later, it's more like, okay, money comes in, I got to use it. I got to make big investments. I got to take much bigger chances, much bigger risk. And there's going to be times where you're not going to be paid anything now.
Got it. So
like the goal in the beginning to become a millionaire, you need income. When you're going to the next level, you don't want income. You want assets.
Got it.
And assets don't always pay you, right? So the goal really for everybody that's watching right now is not to earn more money. It's to earn no money. It's to be able to live with no money ever.
Got it. If you have time for one last question, so this is something I've always died to ask you specifically. When you're on your deathbed and you're looking back at your life, what are you going to look back and say, okay, that's what I did right in my life? If you could highlight 3 aspects of yourself.
Well, hopefully, if it happened today, I wouldn't be able to say this. I wouldn't be able to say I went to India, but hopefully, in the next 12 months to 18 months, I come to India. And one of the things I'll look back on is bringing my kids and my wife and some of my key people to India, making new friends there. I love to travel. I love to meet new people in part of the world. I like to meet people that are inspired and they're dreamers. Hopefully along the way, I will not have just inspired people, but there'll be people that carry my legacy on because of what they're doing, not what I said. That something I did causes you to change the way you operate in your life and think bigger and go bigger, and that you actually do something with it. My goal is to live for another couple hundred years, man. through my work, not with my physical body, but through my work.
Yeah.
And that I make a difference because of what I did and gave other people the tools to do something so that what they do also lives on.
GC, one day, hopefully I'll be wearing a black t-shirt. A dude doing a podcast will be wearing a black t-shirt, and I'll say, I learned that from Grant Cardone. Thank you. You're a big brother. You don't know how much I appreciate you. You don't know how much I've learned from you, and you don't know how much good energy and prayers I send your way, man. God bless you.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Looking forward to hosting you in India.
Okay, let's do it.
That was the episode for today. Huge moment for me because Grant Cardone was on my original potential guest list that we had decided before we actually began TRS. Crazy that we've had him on the show. This experience was incredibly motivating for me, and I'm just looking forward to see what other international guests make their way to the Ranveer show. Which other international guests would you guys like to see on TRS? Please let us know. And also follow us on Spotify. Every episode is available on Spotify 48 hours before it's available anywhere else in the world. GC will be returning to the Ranveer show very soon. But until then, make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this podcast with your friends. And from Ranveer and the team on the Ranveer show, see you soon.